Shalom. I like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and CT bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching this word of truth and sincerity around the four corners. You know, like Elder Malcolm would be saying, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever, because, you know, we are in some dangerous times. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners. You know, the Israelites that live amongst the heathen that look like some of those heathen. You know, this is not a black or white thing. This is an Israelite thing. So, you know, Israelites are going to come back into the fold looking like all the other nations that they were scattered to, you know. So shalom to the speckled bird. And shalom to the Akim and the few Aqua, the true believers of the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. I got a little bit of time before I gotta hit the plantation. So, you know, decided to try to get one in. And the Lord's willing this to be edifying. Just want to talk. I was watching videos all morning. And I was watching one video in particular. I was watching one video in particular, and it was from. I got the news articles that I'm about to read for the lesson I'm about to present to you. I got it from watching a brother out in Chicago, Saint Benji, and he's dealing with Trump and how he's a cruel Lord, and he definitely is. You know, Apostle Tahad crowns him Nero, calls him Nero 47. And so far, he's living up to his name. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the articles, hit a couple of precepts, and Lord's willing this will be edifying, straight and to the point. And let's not forget, majority of the people that are suffering right now from the Republican Party, or, you know, they voted for Trump. Y'all remember you had campaign parties, rallies, guys, especially the Northern Kingdom. You know, they had Latinos for Trump. We vote for Donald Trump. You know, all of that stuff. So, you know, do we feel bad? that Trump is sticking it to you Babylonians? Of course not. Only if you're part of the hopeful elect that do we feel bad, you know? Because you best believe everybody is affected. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna try to make this super quick because I felt that a couple of raindrops are starting to rain out here. You know, I decided to try to get a quick walking, talking. And I'm looking and I'm feeling a few raindrops, and I ain't bringing an umbrella, so you know, I'm about to start lightly jogging back. But anyway, let me get to the article. Hey, this is from The Guardian. You see the person holding the sign that says SNAP feeds families. It says Americans dumbfounded by cruelty of Trump officials slashing SNAP benefits. You know, and the title basically says it all. It says those among the 42 million enrolled in the program worry that cutoff of the benefit will send their lives into a tailspin. Yeah, you best believe the cutoff of benefits, that disrupts the whole economy. Because, like the brothers were saying at the camp yesterday, you know, they're not only like these companies, these stores and supermarkets, they depend on that EBT money to be spent. And you're talking about 42 million people. That's a lot of people. Money that's not going to get spent. I believe the number is somewhere around 9 billion. I think it's like $9 billion gets spent in EBT, something like that. I gotta do more research on it. But either way, that affects the economy and the slow up in the process. Hold on, let me cross the street. Yeah. And that slow up in the economy, that slow up in the market is going to affect the economy. Let's read a little bit of this. It says across the country, Americans who depend on government help to buy groceries are preparing for the worst. As a result of the ongoing federal government shutdown, Donald Trump has threatened to, for the first time in the program's more than 60-year history, cut off benefits provided by the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. A federal judge last week prevented the U.S. Department of Agriculture from suspending SNAP altogether, but the Trump administration now says enrollees will receive only half of their usual benefits. You see? Only a devil would do something like that. He tried to cut it off altogether, and a judge ruled that out. But as you know, if you've been paying attention to the Trump administration, they're basically above the law. You know. One thing that Elder Malcolm has said that stuck with me in his lessons, he's been saying that the government has been trying, that the powers that be have been trying to do away with Constitution. You know, that was all that the Constitution was the only thing standing in their way of implementing their new to the world to the order. And as you see, that's what they're doing. Because how you ain't going to give the people that depend on government assistance, you know, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that, you know, that have SNAP and WIC and all, and you know, all those programs, Section 8, that really don't need it. You know, they're just getting over on the government. But, you know, there's a lot of people that need it. Like war veterans, you know. Somebody that went to war for America and came back home and didn't get any type of help. You know, that's in the Apocrypha. Lord's will, I'll get that. I believe it's Ecclesiastes, Sirach, the 26th chapter. It says the Guardian wanted to know how important SNAP was to the approximately 42 million people enrolled in the program. Many of those who responded to our call out were elderly or out of the workforce because of significant mental or physical health issues and worried that a cutoff of the benefit would send their lives into a tailspin. You see, so you got to remember those people as well. The elderly and the people that are out of the workforce due to mental or physical ailments, physical health issues, you see? Oh. Yeah, so hey, you can't make this stuff up. I just found $1. That's funny. Just found $1 lying in the street. And I said, Tawada Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Add it to the monies so I could buy something to eat later. But anyway, getting back to the lesson, you know, you got to take into account those people. Matter of fact, let me get a couple of precepts because I'm about to shut this down. The book of Isaiah chapter 19. I'll start at the top. You see the heading, it says a message to Egypt. It says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, you know, a chariot, so-called UFO, spaceship, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. That's what you're seeing now. Modern day Egyptian is the Babylonians. You know, you basically got a little civil war brewing in the midst of racial tension. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And that's what Esau is going to do. That's probably what he's doing now. Yeah, well, not probably. That's what he's doing now. Going to the charmers and them that have familiar spirits, the wizards and whatnot, trying to tap into that left hand side heavy. But the scriptures tell you that them left-handed spirits are going to leave, and he's going to be left like a chicken with his head cut off. And that's when Yahweh Shai is going to return and smash him. You know? Here's the point, verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Yeah. And this is this describes Donald Trump to a T, because only a cruel person will cut somebody off when they need them the most, showing you that Esau never changed, you know? Like he wanted to cut off all the benefits, stop them completely cold in their tracks. And hold on, let me cross the street. And you see that the courts had to step in on the behalf of the people, and he's still cutting them off halfway. From what I understand, you know, Edomites received their benefits, you know, because from what I read somewhere that that the EBT was giving out benefits to some people, but from what I understand, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, I didn't receive none of y'all benefits. You see? So you know that you have if you don't know by now that you have enemies, and your arch nemesis, arch rival enemy is Esau Edom, and I don't know what to tell you. You know, the Most High is the Most High is really not dealing with you. You know. I wanted to get another precept. I forgot where it was though. Oh yeah, in Apocrypha. This is the book of the Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, chapter 2, verse, I'll start at 6. And it says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use..." Matter of fact, let me start at the top. just to give you context of what it's talking about. It says, "For the ungodly said," and you know, when it refers to the ungodly, it's talking about the wicked, which is Esau Edom. You know, like it tells you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is what they say amongst themselves. They talk to them. So this is what they say when they talk within themselves. It says, "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave." Verse 6, skipping down to 6, says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, And let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. You know, slavery. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. So they're basically saying, let us run up the score. Let us run up the bill in the restaurant, and then dine and dash out. Leave it to somebody else. This is what Edomites do. This is why you see America going to every other country and try to extract their resources through act of so-called democracy, you know, declaring war on that country. That's what they're doing with Gaza. That's what they're doing with that's what they did with Afghanistan. That's what they did with Iraq. That's what they're doing with Venezuela. That's what this is their MO. They want to exact resource. They want to exact natural resources. Salak it. They want to exact natural resources just to have, because you know, like it tells you in Psalms 73rd chapter. I'll get that next, Lord's will. That they have more than heart could wish. Verse 10, here's the point. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. And you see, that's who was most at risk of their life going into a tailspin. Was the elderly, the gray haired of the aged, or the people that can't go in the workforce because of mental and physical health issues. You see? It says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Yeah, you see? So, oh, yeah, let me get that before I forget. So, you know, you got war veterans. You have people that went to war for this country that come back and can't even get on Snap. That's a damn shame. That's one of the things that's just supposed to do. That's a law. They're just supposed to take care of a warrior that fought for your country. You know, in our law. Like King David, he when he went to go battle, you know, he took some men with him, and some men stayed behind and then defended the families to make sure nothing happened to them while the men were at war. And when he got the spoils, he split it up with the men that stayed behind to protect the families. And even though some of his men were like, yo, what are you doing? They were like, don't give them any spoils, because they didn't. And many of them were like, you know, don't give them any spoils because they didn't go to war with us. But King David was, you know, he was a man after the Most High's heart, which shows you that the Most High is a just power. Because just because them guys didn't go to war doesn't mean they didn't do their part, you know? You got the house of David, and you got the men, you got the helps, you know? The Most High accounts for all. And that's a beautiful thing. But this is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 verse 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such a one for the sword. You see? So it grieves the Lord's heart to see these men that go to war for their country and don't get taken care of. That's a damn shame. Like, you know, and men of understanding that are not set by. You know, the men that come to my mind are the apostles and the elders and the CT bishops. You know, they're not set by. They still got to work. You know, the brothers giving tithes I give in tithes every time I get paid. But that's not enough. These men are not set by. This is why the Lord has to destroy this wicked ass queendom, whatever you want to call it, this wicked rulership. Because men of understanding are not set by. You know, you gotta study, you have to pray, you gotta fast, you still gotta go to work for this damn devil. And you even got people. They said that the government is shut down. I believe today is day 40, and you still got people that gotta go to work, and even though they're not getting paid. Like, this is truly slavery all over again. Slavery is when you work and you don't get paid. You know? Damn shame. But before I get Psalm 73, let me get this other article that Salaki. Get this other article that I found. That I got from watching Saint Benji video, and I suggest you check him out. Saint Benji, GMS Chicago, Saint Benji. That's the name of his YouTube channel. Subscribe and be edified. Oh, Salaki, pop up. This is from The Hill. It says, Trump says he's withholding SNAP benefits until shutdown ends. You see? If that's not the dealings of a cruel Lord, then I don't know what is, you know? This guy says he wants to hold SNAP benefits until the shutdown ends. Like, who knows when the shutdown is going to end? You know? Today's day 40. I believe this is the longest shutdown that's been since. And like I was watching one of the elder brothers. I believe his name is Sabak. And his YouTube channel is GMS Beatitudes. And he was going into that they were just playing good cop, bad cop with this government shutdown. You know, because let's not forget that it's two people on this. There's two. Let's not forget that it's two people. That basically, you know, the Democrats, the Republicans, the red and the blue. There's two wings, like Elder Malcolm always says, there's two wings on the same hateful bird. So they both work for the same handlers, you know, the global elites. We got the audio version. Salakia. Had to cross the street. Let me read a little bit of this. It says, President Trump signaled Tuesday he would be withholding SNAP benefits until radical left Democrats open up government. as many states grapple with a lapse in federal funding. You see? So like the elder bro said, there's nothing but good cop, bad cop. This is what Esau does, man. Esau plays with the livelihood of his slaves. You know? That's why I would advise you not to do any unnecessary spending. You know? Buy what you need, and that's it. And if you could, get a surplus of it. If you have extra money left over. Because who knows with these people, you know? This is Psalm 73, and I started 3. It says, For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, and their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. This is talking about the wicked elite. You know, the elite of Esau Edom. You know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Bloombergs, the Schicklgrubers, so on and so forth. It says, Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Here's one of the points. It says, their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You see? They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. You see? So, this is what they do. They sit back and they talk shit like Trump is doing. And meanwhile, they still get paid. You know, let's not forget that while the government is shut down and people are not getting their money, you know, like the elder bro Sabak was saying, you know, Israel, the state of Israel still gets their annual $3 to $4 billion a year. They got their SNAP benefits, you know. They're the biggest welfare state known to man, and they're getting theirs. But you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are not getting yours. You better wake the fuck up and realize you got enemies in higher up places. And it's bigger than any little bit of street beef you might have had. You know, your real enemy is the so-called white man and his seed line. And it goes all the way back to Genesis, the 25th chapter. From the womb. From the womb to the tomb, you got enemies. But this man is definitely a cruel Lord. Let me get this, and I'll close. Been going long as it is, but that's the spirit, you know. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. It says, Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. You see, so it's in Esau's nature to do evil. There's no rehabilitating an Edomite. It's in their full-blooded, it's in their red-blooded nature to be evil towards the Israelites. You see? The only thing you can do is pray to the Most High that He rid you of this cancer. He sent His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and a holy host of angels to rid us of this evil disease, like it tells you in the Apocrypha. You know, like Ecclesiastes 7th chapter says, who can make that straight what the Most High has made crooked? This wicked serpent devil, he's been made crooked, and he's going to be crooked until he's taken out of the way. You know, the true definition of a cruel Lord. But anyway, I'm gonna close on that note. Lord's will, you was edified. Until next time, I'm gonna say shalom to the elect.